I use the helicopter to get to work as often as I can because I find it's the only way to avoid the potholes. It's a much cheaper mode of transport compared to having to fix suspension and tyres and wheels all the time. As I'm sure you'll know, sanding a body for paint is really the most fun you can have working on a car. It is fortunate, therefore, that I have had the pleasure of sanding this car for at least 80 hours. The time has literally flown by. Sometimes I have to pinch myself to reassure me this isn't just a dream. Having said that, you do need a short break from the excitement. Progress during these breaks, of course, comes to a complete stop. It's not as if the sanding block just carries on without you. However, all good things must come to an end, and the Alfa is nearly ready for the next stage, which is applying some more epoxy. When I say nearly ready, what I actually mean is not nearly ready at all, so more sanding we must do. The boot lid wasn't as straight as I thought, and this needs some significant work. There is a modern bodywork trick though to saving time, and that is the time-lapse function on your phone. What will they come up with next? Isn't technology amazing? It is time to remove the doors so that I can sand the door shuts. Before I go too far with sanding the boot lid, I need to fix a problem with the boot opening mechanism. Not the hinge, the part that keeps the boot lid open. The lever that attaches to the hinges and pushes up with some force has bent a little on the near side and a lot on the off side. This part has not been designed strong enough to take the load, and we need to come up with a fix to this. I could make a thicker version that might solve the issue, but I wouldn't be able to fold it in one piece as my tooling wouldn't allow it. What I opted to do instead is weld strengthening gussets onto the part. A belt sander does a really nice job of making this part look nice. Really pleased with those, and I don't think the same problem will happen again. The boot and bonnet are ready for epoxy, and all I'm interested in doing is covering the sections of bare steel. I have prepped all the surfaces with 400 grit, as was advised by the paint manufacturer. The MEPA datasheet didn't give me the information I needed, so I sent an email to MEPA Technical Advice. I didn't search the forums online, I didn't ask the paint supplier, and I didn't ask my mate down the pub. I went straight to the manufacturer, and I think this is always the best thing to do when you need a question answering. The next job is to prep the new doors, and someone has kindly primed this door with black primer, but I think they have taken advice from the mate down the pub because the primer is all coming off. This black paint now has to be removed. Here is what happens when you don't use gloves to handle bare steel. I get laughed at when I insist on wearing gloves to handle bare steel, but this is why. I caused this by bare skin contact, and now I have to remove it. I ran out of gloves and picked the door up without them. Stupid Ben. Door hinges now, and these are rusty and need the rust removing. I have roughly sandblasted these. All I need to do is remove the paint here because they're going into the immersion rust remover over the weekend. It's quite warm today, warm enough to need my new purchase. This is much quieter than my 65 horsepower Rotax 582 powered fan, but not quite as refreshing. After a weekend immersing, these hinges are fully derusted. When they come out of the tank, they need to be sprayed with Atom Mac to prevent flash rusting, and I prefer to dry them with a hot air gun. As final preparation, I have blasted these again, and I think this is the best preparation for painting you can possibly get. Rust 100% removed and the surface keyed the best it possibly can be. Paint this the same day and you've done the very best that can be done short of galvanizing. Doors now prepped inside and ready to accept the epoxy primer. The boot and bonnet have been rekeyed with 400 grit and are ready for high build primer. Any pinholes in high build primer after spraying I dab with a small paintbrush. There is always some to fill, but the finishing filler sorts the vast majority of them. If I hadn't used this, then there would be hundreds of them. It's time to get epoxy on the rest of the car now. We can inspect the car and see how much of it is lacking in filler work talent. The uniform colour really helps to identify parts that you didn't get right, and if you're anything like me, there will be a few of these. Here is the first thing I'm not pleased with. The lower swage line seems to tilt upward at the end. That needs to be fixed. The other side doesn't do that, but the swage line isn't perfectly straight and well defined, as it needs to be. The back of the wing isn't flat in the vertical position. You might be able to see a wave which needs sorting. The corner of the wing here looks a little bumpy. It's a reverse curve and tricky to get uniform, but I'll sort that too. Apart from that, it's looking okay at the moment. To further aid the inspection, if I wet the panel with a slow evaporating panel wipe, I can check the reflection. Any dents would be highly visible here. The next thing I think I'll do is paint the underneath. I can't finish the filler work on the rear panel because the roll frame is in the way. I'm going to use Upol Raptor for the underneath, which sounds a bit prehistoric, but it's apparently a modern version of what I've been using previously. I've never used it before and need to do a trial spray to better understand how it's mixed and likes to be applied. I'll show the mixing process shortly, but to start with, I've got an adjustable nozzle coating gun, and I'm just finding the setting I want. The nozzle adjusts the quantity of paint being flung at the wall. Unscrewing the nozzle means more paint. I've mounted a spray out card to test the coverage. One coat and it's nowhere near covering. The data sheet says the flash time between coats is 60 minutes, but if you can touch it without getting a red finger, it's ready for the next coat. Coat number 2 and it's still not covered. Coat 3 and we're getting somewhere. While that's drying, I'll sand the epoxy with a 360 grit abrasive sanding pad. The card is dry and we can see it's still not covered. The paint I used to tint the Raptor was MIPA 2-pack acrylic and I used a 10% mixing ratio. I sprayed the acrylic paint on another card and that didn't cover either with 3 coats, but I also wanted to check the difference in colour. I was told that mixing the Raptor changes the colour shade slightly, and slightly I would say is correct. Perfectly acceptable for underneath, but the lack of coverage is more of a concern. Comparing the Raptor to a Upol stone chip and 2-pack top coat, the Raptor isn't as shiny and perhaps slightly rougher. Not a big deal, but the priority is protection over aesthetics in my opinion. There's one more bit of sealant I need to apply and it's really important. Where the inner arch overlaps the outer arch needs to be sealed. If you don't do this, rust will form at the joint and fast. What I do is mask a line around 5mm back from the edge and use my finger to apply the sealant from the outside to the inside, making sure I get this join. This is Tiger Seal and is paintable. Check you've got the joint sealed all the way around the arch. The car is masked off and this was a little tricky around the engine bay area. The front crossmember being all part of the monocoque chassis makes it more difficult to access and deciding where to mask. The front section of the car is all open to the wings and engine bay, plus there's little room to get the spraying equipment into those areas. I think I'm ready to paint now. These welded tabs I don't like the idea of much. There are loads of them to hold the things like wiring loom and brake pipes, but painting around them is going to be a pain. One of many design decisions that make working on this type of car challenging. It's Raptor time and I've got 8 litres of it. This is the mixing ratio by weight, which is hardener to paint ratio of 3:1 by volume if you prefer. Then add the tint, which is 50 grams for 5% or 100 grams for 10%. I'm mixing it all by weight, but you do get a nice measuring pot for the hardener. The only reason I'm measuring the weight to start with is to check the data figures are correct and the supplied pot is also the correct volume. That checks out, so from here on all I need to do is measure the amount of tint. I'm adding 50 grams for 5%, but I actually changed this to 10% tint. I didn't use the previously tested acrylic 2-pack paint as a tint. I brought the proper Upol Raptor tint mixed to the Alpha colour. I'm expecting this to cover much better. Once mixed, you pour it back into the bottle and shake it. Then you're ready to spray. It's quite hot again today. The spray booth is 24 degrees centigrade, hence the shorts. Wearing shorts for me is a rare occurrence, so I would advise you make the most of it. Seeing these legs is like spotting an Alfa Romeo without rust. Not beyond possibility, but extremely rare. You might think that because the car is on a row frame, there will be no need to crawl underneath to spray, but if you don't, you will miss a lot. Likewise, not using a powerful torch. I applied 2 coats to the floors and 3 coats to the inner arches and used 10 litres of Raptor, 2 more than I was expecting. Unmasking I like to do as soon as the spraying is finished. I think it was a good decision to get the Raptor product into the inside of the front of the car. It projects further than a spray gun and gets a decent coverage of paint where it's needed. I think overall I like the product. A bit shiny would have been nice, but despite being more expensive than the old system, which was Upol stone chip and then 2-pack acrylic top coat, it saves on labour, so overall it's a cheaper system. Cheaper doesn't mean better though, and testing with controlled projectile stones with each system would be a worthwhile experiment. The coverage using Upol tint is excellent. With just 2 coats I can't see the squares on the spray out card. Thanks for watching.